Hi, how are you all? Welcome to our today's session, a session on how to train your children to forgive one another. It's one thing that you should know, parents, that a kid who does not forgive others is always full of anger, is hostile, has high anxiety, and a lot of bitterness. And that is why when they go to pray or when they go to school, you'll find them either fighting, injuring one another, and even some of those injuries can end up being fatal. So that is why it is good for us as parents to train our children to be able to forgive one another. Because a child who is not carrying any baggage of offense in their heart, they have a high mental health, they are always happy, and they have a high self-esteem. So let's start. Remind these children by telling them that even the Bible tells us to forgive. And that is in John chapter 20, verse 23, where it says, if you forgive them their sins, even you are forgiven. If you don't forgive them, you're also not forgiven. So we are training these children from the time they are young. So from when they are young, at times they might not be able even to remember the people who offended them, but they can feel that their heart is carrying a baggage. So what do you do with these young children? Call them, sit with them, let them put what has upset them on paper. Let them write down everything. When they write all that, as a parent, read through and see what they have written. Then from there, tell them to write a letter of compassion. A letter that will see that they are forgiving the people who offended them. The minute they finish doing that, tell them to get hold of that paper and then tear it, and then after that put it into the baggage. So by that, you are training them to be able to forgive those who offended them. And there are several ways that we should train these children on how to forgive others. Siblings disagreeing in the house. Let's teach them to have reconciliation, which they can do through forgiving one another. Another thing they should always do is, whenever they forgive one another, they should do it unconditionally. They should not be saying, because I've forgiven you, you have to do A, B, C, D. No. It should be unconditional. And they should not expect anything back, where maybe a child breaks another child's pen. So what the child might tell the other child is, you'll pay me my pen so that I can forgive you. Or I've forgiven you, but you have to pay me back. No, if you're forgiving, don't expect anything back. And never not to hold grudges after forgiving, because that means that they are still carrying a baggage which will be affecting their mental health. So they should always forget after forgiving. And then to keep remembering what was done to them, because it keeps reminding them, and that brings about a lot of bitterness. So whenever now they have planned that they are forgiving, let them forget and let it go. Also train them and tell them that they should do to others what they expect to be done. Because if they cannot forgive, why should they expect to be forgiven? So train them by telling them you forgive so that also others can forgive them. We also have some cases where these children might be offended. Maybe they are in a matatu, and whoever offends them also goes and moves on with the matatu. So what do you do in such a case when the kid comes home and they are bitter? Tell these children to tell their story. And they should tell the whole story the way it is. Listen to it, and from there, after you listen to it, tell them to forgive and forget whatever happened. Because even this person, they'll never meet with them so that they can reconcile. So it's all for today. Remember to like, to share, and to subscribe. If you have subscribed, thumbs up.